Testing.
We sure are. We're going. Be fast, man, because it goes live in 4.
Where am I sitting at?
Wherever you want.
Come on, Harry, let's sit on this side.
I'll be here.
I gotta move on the other side of Harry. I don't want to be this close to you.
There you go.
I don't want to be that close to you either, but you know what? It's you gotta become immune to diseases, and so they said that getting close to you, I'd become a little more healthy.
Doctor.
And you know what? Put your headphones on.
Anyway.
Yep, you got it. Who are you missing? What are you missing?
I'm missing Jim. No.
No, you're not.
He's there.
He's right there.
I'll tell you. Here, hold on a second. Hold on.
Hey, I'll see you. We got a whole list of stuff.
It's okay. He's early. He's early.
As always, right?
Yo, minute 15. Good to see you, buddy. We'll catch up here in a bit.
Hey guys.
Kind of got that wiener look, don't it?
Kind of right up on the mic, okay?
Yeah. Don't touch it.
Guys, what do you think? Do I talk in there? Can you hear you okay?
1 2 1 2. No, not really.
I can't. Well, have them talk.
See what happens. You guys do it. Mic check real quick.
Check.
No.
Check.
Pretty
Check.
quiet.
Check.
Hello.
Yo.
Pretty quiet.
Nothing.
What's the song, Alex? Nothing.
Hello. Hello.
Test. Chris did it.
Oh,
Testing 1 2.
Here, I got an idea.
Volume
Well,
up.
you're live. Go ahead.
Oh,
and introduce
nope.
everybody.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Doyle, Renny Doyle Podcast. We're coming live from Mobile Tech Expo, and we're just walking through some technical issues real quick, and then we're going to get started. Matter of fact, we're not going to wait too long. Can you guys hear me okay a little bit down there? Nah, a little bit? Okay. So we're going to take and we'll see if we can't get this going. 1 second. So for those that couldn't make it, unfortunately, to the Mobile Tech Expo, this is probably the largest mobile tech I've ever seen. And I go back to, we had a correction. Paul lied. I thought 2006 was the first year that a lot of us got together, but what it actually was 2004. So it's we have a long history at this show. I think it's the ground zero for detailing, really changing detailing and what we are today. So, hey, Chris, we still don't have, you guys don't have any audio in your headphones? Yeah, we have no, do you have audio in yours? Marginal? Yeah,
Lots of feedback.
yeah, we're getting feedback, and then we've got, yeah, I don't know. Everybody kind of watch their phones.
Silenced.
We'll go from there. So, all right, well, let's jump into it. So, hey, again, welcome Mobile Tech 2022. Been a bit, and I'm sitting here with a panel. They're going to introduce themselves, and there's three of us that go back to the original group back into the early 2000s that really, I think it was ground zero for launching detailing on what it is today. You know, we didn't lead the charge. We were just an example of the charge back then. So we're going to start off to my right, and we're going to go right down Mark and have each panelist introduce themselves, and then we'll go down through. So go ahead.
I'm Mark Johnson. I own AutoWorks Pro Detailing. We have locations in North Carolina and South Carolina. Been in the industry for 35 years. You know, I had another company, sold that, kind of reinvented, and starting over with it.
And so Mark, you're part of that original crew from 04 to 06
Oh, yeah.
that came through. What a difference.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Life's different.
Yep.
We're older, but a lot of new faces, but pretty cool. So next, Harry, you're up, buddy.
Harry Sandwith, Dirty Harry's Detailing, and Hogfather Motorcycle Detail. I've been detailing full-time for about 12 years. I'm an original member and founding member of the group. Retired police officer, currently operating in New Jersey and Florida.
Okay, Alex, you're up, buddy.
Alex Dublin, Torque Performance, North Pole, Alaska. Been detailing full time since 2013. Trained with Renny in 2014.
What'd you do before coming into detailing?
Come from the mining industry.
Right on. Whole different world, right?
Big
Especially in
difference.
Alaska. I mean, that's talking about a different world. So next to my left, Andrew, you're up, buddy.
All right, Andrew Swenson. I'm from Wolfboro, New Hampshire. Own Wolfboro Car Wash and Executive Detail, and started in 2008 with the car wash. Trained with Renny in 2008, and so I've been about 14 years now.
There you go. And then lastly, to my left,
Jim Goguen, Jim's Auto Installations and Detailing Center in Ipswich, Mass. Been in business almost 36 years now.
Man.
I met Renny at 2006 at Mobile Tech when it was an extremely small show. Not that many detailers there.
No, it was a whole different show. It wasn't anything close to this. So, hey, going back, we've talked about this, is that, 2006, we consider that kind of the launching time for our group. And really, I think we attracted a lot of people in the detailing industry to this show because we were all active on MobileWorks with Dan. Remember that? Mark and Jim had it. And I think that we were part of the draw, but then our group went from like 6 of us to 8 of us to 12 of us, and it just kept growing over the years. And so let's go down through, and I'm going to take and go back. So let's talk about ground zero, what's changed. So we'll start on the opposite end with Jim now this time. So technically and entrepreneurially, what have you seen? What have been the big changes in the industry on the technical side?
Well, I mean, back then, everything was high speed. That's all we really had. We had high speed. And, as far as a marketing end, it was just the yellow pages. That's all we had. We had the forum, but we were still not connecting with other detailers as far as that goes. But tool-wise, it was either high speed or the old gem polisher.
Right.
That's what we had. And today we have so many more choices.
Well, right. And then it came out. Remember, the Porter cable came out.
That's right.
Of course, you're part of the stick crew tying a Porter cable to a painting pole and try to get the top of airplanes.
Well,
You know,
we got the job done.
We did.
I'm not too sure that we want to do it that way again.
no.
We took a tool that really wasn't made for detailing, but we brought it into the industry. But from that, all these other tools, manufacturers could see the need that way, and now we have some of the best tools out there.
Absolutely. And so it's been pretty cool to watch it. And again, it's to your points, is that detailing. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's simplified. It really has been systematically simplified by not just the tool manufacturers and the product manufacturers, but detailers. And you're a part of Ground Zero. I was actively running shops at the time. You still do.
Yep.
And it's just got to be to be in shop on a daily basis. It's got to be kind of mind blowing to look back at history and then look at what's going on in your shop now.
Well, I mean, when I started, we didn't even have clay either. That wasn't
right.
That
or microfiber towels.
Right. Have access to get all this stuff now.
Absolutely.
Now you can find everything really, relatively easy and more choices.
And so go back to a time, if those listening that are newer, I'd probably say 20 years in or less, is go back to the time we didn't have microfiber towels. We didn't have. I mean, we didn't have clay. We didn't have large throw DAs. We didn't have forced action. And just take all those things out of your detailing business now and see what you got. Is you're not left with a lot of options, and we didn't. So Andrew, you're new compared to Jim. You're new.
Jim, I'm a baby.
Yeah, exactly it. And so now, and you've got a unique perspective because where you're located, you do a lot of boats. So same question to you. We've got the technical side of things, and then you got the entrepreneurial side of things. What have you seen that is really changed on both those sides of the coin?
I think definitely the product side has reduced the amount of steps that we have to do, the amount of work, and just really amplified the outcome of the product that we can put out. On the marine side, also just the ceramic coatings. I mean, it's been a massive. That whole just the whole ceramic coatings industry has changed a
tremendous amount. So back when, and Mark and Jim, you're going to be old enough to remember this. These other guys, maybe not. Remember multiple layers of Zano Brothers?
Oh yeah.
I never actually used it, but I did research it, and that was the big thing.
It was the big thing. You're a colonite guy, right?
Yeah.
You're a colonite guy.
So,
Mark, what were you using back in the day?
Oh, good Lord. Well, I'll tell you one of the things I was thinking about. Jim's right. It started out in the industry. It was just a rotary, and one of the great things at the time that came out was the Jim orbital polisher.
Yeah.
And when you're slinging that 18-pound machine floor buffer around on cars, you were doing something.
Right.
And it's hard to believe that we were using that and felt like that we were leading the industry, with that kind of thing. But innovation keeps going. One of the other things I thought about is, as you talked about when we first started meeting up and getting together and kind of somewhat forming a group, a lot of people in the industry kind of, let's just say, talk bad about that. You know what I mean? That was kind of because the way the industry mindset was, it was a me, I'm the greatest kind of thing instead of a group. But look how much we have grown because of groups. Our group, the IDA, and so many other groups, that people have put together. Detailers are becoming better, stronger, more skilled. I mean, just everything in the entire industry is growing because of the groups.
Oh, it's huge. So, Jim, this isn't a slam against you or I, but more testimony towards Mark. You've probably had the greatest amount of change of going from a detailer to a car wash owner, right?
Yeah.
And we've watched that. We've had a frontline show to his show, and, one of the topics we're going to talk about later is, thinking big, not small. So back when we met you, you were purely a detailer. How the hell?
One man band. Yeah.
How the hell did you? What took you in the direction of going into a not just a car wash, but a badass car wash?
Well, it was one, the passion for the industry and the type of car washes that I've had kind of aligned with the detailing mindset. It's not about the machines, that kind of thing. We're hand, car washes. But what has always been part of my mindset is really, it's the big picture, the exit strategy, and creating something that, is sellable, or, something that my last day isn't just turning off the light switch and going home. You know what I mean?
And in it, there's value to it.
There's value. There's an exit strategy to it.
I like it. Mark's one of the guys too that taught me the term owner financing.
Powerful.
It is. And I remember you telling me that back in 2006, and I was like, say what? And I've done a lot of deals since then on owner financing, and real estate investments and stuff like that.
Yep.
So Harry's got a different perspective too, because started out, came to me first and wanted to just do bikes. And I talked you into doing cars and bikes. And then you've transitioned back into pretty much just doing bikes. Yep. You've been around now for well over a decade, and you've watched the changes happen, but also within the bike segment, it's changed a lot. You've been part of that change. So, technically, and then again, entrepreneurially, what's the things that you've seen happen?
Well, I've gone from full details to probably steam bike washing is about 80% of my business now.
It's killer.
I'll steam a bike. And, we could do about 12 to 16 bikes an hour, 2 guys, and at $40 a bike, it's not too bad.
Unreal. And it's a great sellable service.
Yep. But, if I was a little younger,
do a little
my
more.
Employees would be a little bit different. But,
yeah, that's okay. So here's a big difference on this is that steamers, Diane and I picked up our first one back in the late 90s. Jim bought one from us. What did we charge you for that? $6,000? That's kind of a sore spot, but you got to get, it built a lifetime relationship.
That's hey, you know what? It was well worth it.
Yeah.
It was definitely on the higher end of what they are today. But
that's why we threw in training.
But it's all good, right? So,
but now Harry's got, you're using. I mean, steamers have gone from spitting out steam to this thing's full fledged. I mean, it's a beast.
Yeah, we're looking for our second one now. They're a little expensive. More cost is shipping than anything else.
Oh, yeah, and especially nowadays. So Alex, okay, so this dude is, again, I love all these guys up here. Alex is from Alaska. When you think detailing, you don't think, Alaska. Came out of a different industry, built it, lifestyle. You wanted something, again, a lot of what's been said already. But here we talk about having weather challenges in the lower 48. And I don't care where you're at, nothing compares to where you're at. You also got a unique situation where your shop is located. And so let's go into all those things a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
So for the first time, I've actually this right after Christmas, this is the first time I've actually ever called my employees and said, don't even try and come out. We got that hammered with snow and rain. And other than that, we're usually open.
Yeah.
That was a fluke.
Yeah, you guys got snow, rain, froze, and then you said that the roads were so bad that you had to lower your plow down to use it as a brake.
As a brake. Yeah, there was a couple times I started sliding, I just dropped my plow and used it to stop me.
Right.
So
it's the weather challenge is pretty real. Again, Jim's going in Boston. Man, I've never had to use my plow as a brake. I wish I would have had a plow in my truck last week because I almost took it off the freaking. We're up wheeling, and I almost put it into about a 200-foot ditch. Would have been a real bad day,
especially with the new truck,
with a new truck and a new camper on it and stuff like that. But it was one of those things, watch this, Diane, hold my beer, and so now but your location, talk about your shop.
My shop, I've got the worst commute ever. It's a whole 100 feet in front of my house.
Right.
So I don't get to call in sick. I don't get to, get weathered out. And
can't escape from your employees, you're right there.
I do. I come here.
And so now, yeah, exactly. And Air Force One and every single one of these gentlemen are Air Force One team members, pretty important members to our group. But so now also, Alex, you take, and again, technology is, you do a lot more than just detailing.
Yeah.
And so kind of describe what led you into detailing, and then all the add-on services that you've done is you've added a lot more profit points to it. So talk about that a little bit.
So originally we started out, I'm a bass head, started out in the car audio industry, big pumping systems, get loud. Started there, and ever since I was 16, I've been in the car industry, and always kept my own stuff clean. So all my friends and family would be like, hey, wash my car, detail my car, stuff like that.
Right.
And so I started out and with the intention in 13 to just be a car audio shop. That's all I wanted to do, car audio and lighting. And then I just kept getting more and more demand for detailing. And so I talked to Diane for like 6 months before I actually pulled the trigger and went to training, and with me and the wife. And
then you met me and wish you wouldn't have pulled that trigger.
I should have went somewhere else. But yeah, so it's been a game changer. One of the best decisions I've ever made for my business was going through the training. And it's like now, like we still offer lighting, we still do car audio, we do paint protection film, just now adding window tint, but detailing's probably 75% at least of our income.
And you're okay. So talking about technical, all of us, it's rare that we've missed. We call Jim Mr. SEMA. He's got more SEMA years than any of us, probably more SEMA years of all of us combined. But likewise is that all of us, Alex, you've really, I know you've gone to different trainings and so forth. Is education such an important part of it? Yet all of us up here are how old are you? You're the youngster.
38.
Are you really? You're that young? Now, you look great.
That
for
is
7.
cute.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah. I got boots older than I got boots older than you. But here to be 38, that didn't happen for us, Jim. It just didn't.
I didn't meet you till I was 40.
Right, and we were both, because we're the same age. And so, with that being said, is that my point is that you're going towards 40. Hey, good job, but you don't stop. None of us stop learning.
No.
And you can't. I'm looking at Mark down the way. I'm amazed at what he's done, and the dude's here every year learning.
Absolutely. I mean, I learn something all the time.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, if you get your mindset right, sometimes I'll learn things from people that have only been in the industry for a year or two.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to stop thinking that you're the best there is, and you don't have anything to learn.
I'm not the best yet, and I'm going to keep saying that all the way till my last breath.
Right.
I'll take some people on. I'll take you on. I'll take you on. But you got a good chance of beating me, but I got a good chance of beating you.
Right.
Plus, I'll tell you what. You know what I'm good at, and everybody up here is really good at. I'll take you on bank account wise, and profitability per hour. You want to compete. That's what I'm competitive on. How shiny you can get a car. I hate to say it. That's secondary. It really is.
I mean, it's just you get smarter. I don't know if it's age or what, but you do start thinking smarter.
Well, and you got a younger generation, 38 years old, that they're not doing stupid stuff. Like they're being a lot smarter than we were.
Well, you brought that up. I mean, when I met you, you were training then, but not to the level that you are now, nor were there all these other places where you can go and get training. So now, detailers have that ability, whether it's a 1 day, a week long, specialized in just, window tint or PPP, that type of stuff. We didn't really have, even when I met you guys, that stuff was just starting to come out.
Absolutely.
But for the 20 years prior to that I was in business, we never had any of those tools available to us. Whereas today you could come into the market, think you want to get into, you could go to, 2 different training facilities to find out if this is right for you, but you'll have a good base that took us years to build up on our own, not even know if we were doing it right. We had nothing to compare it to.
No. So next question, and we'll start in the middle this time, is, profitability has changed on a lot of levels, coatings, paint corrections, but I think there's a lot of other factors in there for profits that a lot of people, they just they signal in on coatings and the paint correction, but there's, Harry just mentioned it, the volume of bikes. Steamers, if 20 years ago, you couldn't have done that. You would have done half that, maybe less. So let's start out with that. So where do you think that Andrew will start there, and then we'll go to Alex? Profitability is not just in the high-end ticket stuff,
Yeah, true. I think that I know when I kind of first got into the industry, you're kind of looking around and seeing what works for other people, and what works for other people may not be, my market, and really kind of settling into what works for you. For me, it's been, the marine side has been a great place for profit, and then we have so many add-on services that really that add to that. But I think a lot of it comes down to just looking at your own business and yourself and what you're good at, and that just develops as your business grows.
Absolutely. So Alex, we'll go to you.
So I see a lot of the guys only want to do paint correction, ceramic coatings, the big ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at your numbers, your P&L, man, those little jobs they're more of my profit than the big jobs.
Absolutely.
You get your procedures down, the quick interior, quick wash, you knock those out quick, your profits are better on those than some of the bigger jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and why not, if you've got a company and you're really booked out with that level of coating, correction and coating, why not have an interior specialist or express specialist that's handling all your other stuff?
Yeah.
You delegate some of that work to other people. So Harry, again, you've got a unique perspective from that. Is where are you seeing, people don't really, they don't understand bikes. Bikes can make you or break you. So what are you seeing on those profit sides on the bike side of things?
Well, on an average, like I say, if we do operate with one steamer, one optimum steamer with 2 hoses, we average about 10 minutes a bike. So we do a lot of bike events. Ray and I will operate the steamer. I'll usually have one of my workers there to, just bead make of the bikes. So you're averaging, like I say, 12. We've done 16 bikes an hour with enough staff.
Right.
So, you figure $40 a bike, you're talking $30 profit per bike, so.
You take and you volumize that, you bring in some help, you can turn some, especially at these bike events, man, they all want it done.
Yeah, no, they do.
We were in Sturgis, this was years ago, and one of the biggest complaints that we saw at Sturgis was dirty bikes. They had stations set up where you could wash your bikes, but nobody wants to take the time. They're busy doing other things, and the last thing you want to do. So you look at events like that, there's localized, that's a huge one, but you bring that into a micro vision, and there's events. I don't care where you're at in the world, there's bike events that you can make money at.
That's true.
And so it, for a decade, I'm going to skip around a little bit. For the last decade, we've seen really good times. 08 hit. Really, most of us were coming out of 08 pretty strong a year or two later. By 2010, we're really in growth mode again. Matter of fact, Mark, you had some of your biggest growth during that kind of slowdown. So now what I kind of fear is that we've had, over a decade of what I'd call smooth sailing in the economy, and we got a whole generation of entrepreneurs. Back when we were all, exception of you because you are young, but back when we were super young, we would see hiccups about every 5 years.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened in a while. So what do you think, what would your warning be? We're going to have a slowdown. It's everybody's, oh man, we're running good. There's always a correction. You come out, Andrew, you come out of the real estate industry.
Yeah.
And so what do you guys, what's your advice that you'd say to these young entrepreneurs on it's going to slow down? What would you tell them? So Mark, we'll start on your end this time and work right back down again.
Well, what I would say is, when you're starting in business and you're thinking about growth and the direction of your business, I think one of the things that you need to focus on is, saving for those times, thinking about, if we get into those times and it gets slow, how are you going to maintain your overhead, your business, and things like that? You need to prepare for that, from a cash flow perspective. Look at your services and see how they'll be affected in those times. When I guess in 2008, gas got to over $4 a gallon, and I'm selling car wash services.
Tough.
It was tough. But one of the things is, I took that opportunity to go in and look at all my costs and all my expenses and sharpen the pencil on everything. Coming out of it, it made me more profitable than ever because I was lean and mean and just, rolling with it. So profits and margins were higher than ever
Right.
from that.
Absolutely.
So,
One of the indicators that we always watch, and we watched it back in 2008, and I ignored it, was I always watch domestic car sales and especially truck sales, of what numbers are putting out. Well, I just got a report while we were here that trucks, they can't produce trucks, right now. But even with that, demand for trucks just trickled down for the first time. And to me, that's a warning sign of what's about ready to could happen. Now, is it going to be a complete collapse like 2008? I certainly hope not. I don't think so. I think we've got a new economy with a new drive, but it's definitely going to be affected. So, Harry, you came into the industry during that slowdown, and so a lot of very successful people built their businesses or grew their businesses during that slowdown. And so slowdown's not necessarily bad. So what's your input on that?
Well, at this point, I'm always looking. So even, if things slow down, I've just moved down here to Florida, and I'm noticing even with my pavers, they're starting to fade. So I'm looking around and I see these companies that come in and they steam the pavers. They have like a machine that buffs them, and then they spray them with a coating. And I'm like, wow, things get slow. That's another option. So I'm always looking for a way to make a dollar.
Yeah, there you go.
You have to keep your eyes open. Hard times, hard decisions.
And it's not doom and gloom, guys. This is just a reality that we're talking about. Anybody that's listening to this, it's not that, oh my God, I'm freaked out. No, I'm actually opposite. I'm going to look at, okay, while everybody else is getting hit hard, I'm going to grow. I'm going to capture ground, some kind of ground I'm going to capture. So Alex, living where you do, there's a lot of, the wet, you survived like pretty shitty weather, great weather. I mean, for some of us, I like winter, but what's your strategy? What are you seeing? You came into it also not during the best of times, and you built something up.
So for us, Alaska's always usually 2 to 4 years behind like the lower 48. So we get to see and prepare a little different. Like we didn't feel the market crash with, in 2008 until like 2010. We didn't really see the effects too much. Our gas price is always high. So
right.
We're a little different in that aspect, but for us, it's been, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to have other sources of income. That is, that's our thing, is that's why we do multiple different things. For a long time, like we never fully got out of car audio. We've always offered a little bit of stuff here and there, but it died down, these new cars. But now it's actually coming back up there where people want, the subs and stuff again. They want them up.
Absolutely.
But then just that's what we've always been taught is just, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have multiple sources of income.
Well, we've noticed that the bump crowd, so to say, and the audio side, they've gotten older. And what's happening is they've got the money again, and they've got nicer vehicles, and they still want that. I read an article. It's interesting that a lot of us, our brains were wired for happiness between the ages of 14 and 17. And so you've got a crowd that really like their bass that's coming into really nice cars, and they want that bass back.
Yeah.
It's so much so that I just bought a new Ram, and it's got a bass in it.
Yeah.
Built,
it's got subs in it.
It's got the subs. It's incredible. But that tells you that when the big guys do that, so how many cars have that? Not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so that's great. So Andrew, again, you've got a different perspective, and because you came, with a real estate background, you've invested. You're like Mark. You've got a more than just a detailing company. So kind of go into your company a little deeper, and then kind of looking into the crystal ball of of what you're preparing for, should things change a little bit in the economy.
Yeah, so I ended up buying my car wash in 2008 in a pretty rough time, and coming out of real estate, being in sales and construction in 2007, where we just had a real bad year, and I was looking for something, a business that was not 100% commission based. So 07 was real rough. Bought the car wash. Like Mark said, the prices, I remember paying my fuel oil for the car wash, which, mind you, you're heating radiant slabs in the middle of the winter in New Hampshire. So I was blowing through oil at like $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like the one thing I didn't know. I could guess at what my income was going to be based on the past owner and kind of forecast, but one thing I had a lot of control over was my expenses. So like Mark mentioned too, I sharpened the pencil. I looked at everything that I could really save on, but not the things that were going to keep my business growing forward. The things that I didn't need, the things that were maybe personally would have been nice, and just really look to keep my business healthy, looking at the the long-term health of the business. And that really allowed us to come out of that time in a really good position to be able to build a new shop and really invest more in the detail side and invest in new car wash equipment. And so now, just like you, I'm kind of looking at the economy and the indicators and things that are going on, and just kind of not freaking out, but just really trying to position myself well so that I have opportunities. I mean, there's always opportunities to buy in a down market.
Absolutely.
So just trying to get myself prepared for that.
Yeah, I don't want an economy to crash, but I've also put myself in a position to where when it does happen, I don't see it. I hate that other people are going to get hurt, but it's actually going to be an opportunity to take, and for us to capture market share and other investments. And that's how I look at it. And that's the position you want to really put yourself into. So Jim, you've survived a lot. Like I said, it typically, let's go back into the 90s. We had in the early 90s, we had a housing slowdown. We get to the late 90s, it happened again in California. Then we had the tech bubble burst. Then we had 9/11 happen. That kind of, remember all that happens.
I do.
And then we come out of 9/11. We come out, it took us about a year to really, we came out strong. And then again, less than a decade later, we get hit with 08. And so it happened with a lot more frequency. But what's happened? How did you get through so many various slowdowns and stay strong?
Well, a couple things, kind of like Alex, we do detailing, but we do window tint. Car audio was, we actually started very similar to Alex as a car audio shop. I picked up detailing to fill in the lulls in the car audio, and now it's, flipped the other way around. And car audio definitely is, we do a lot of truck accessories, so we are diversified as far as that goes and be able to cross-sell. But, pre 9/11 and all that stuff, it was such a struggle, and really the biggest struggle was I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand a business. I didn't understand profit and loss. I mean, if there was money in the checkbook, that's what was making money, right?
Right.
Not really understanding. I mean, you think back about all the years that, we killed it on that job, but not realizing we only made $5 an hour on it, right? Or, you add that all up. So I do remember, though, when COVID first hit, the first thing I did is I went back to those old days and I thought about, okay, what did I do marketing-wise then? What things did I do that helped me going? And I implemented them right away, not knowing, granted, we didn't have that much of it. No one ever knew in the beginning what that was going to do. But back to what you're saying, I mean, really in the beginning, just not knowing what I didn't know, really.
Right.
So,
well, and the biggest difference, you guys, and we all lived through, so 08 and COVID shut down two completely different things. First off, there's bailouts in this last one. You had PPP, a lot of the our leasing company, our company Cars Through, they got a hold of us immediately and said, hey, we're going to stop payments on your car for 3 months. None of that happened in 08. None of that. Yeah. And then also 08, it was a dynamic slowdown for an extended period of time. we slowed down for a few weeks, maybe, in COVID, and then it kicked off into high gear. It went nuts. It's still going nuts. I still don't understand how it could be going like this.
Yeah.
So you guys that think, oh, I survived COVID, no, you didn't. I got bad news for you. You didn't survive shit.
That was probably a boost, if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just scary to think about, right?
It was. Now, we were scared. We shut down for 92 days, man. Our training program was shut down, but we had demand instantly. We just couldn't start back up again because everything associated with us, the hotels, everything else were shut down. Airline, it was scary to travel. I mean, there's so many things going on, but don't compare those two because they're completely different. So today, we brag about the changes and what we're able to succeed at, what we're able to accomplish, but I really see a real lack of common sense in the industry. I see some reckless stuff going on. So we're going to take, and Alex, we're going to start with you this time, and then we're going to take, and we'll go down that way, and then we'll finish with these two. So, common sense. What are you seeing that when you see on the different forums, when you see in the industry, and you just shake your head?
So when I went through training, I was told to stay off the forum. So I've done a pretty good job at that, and I get yelled at about it often.
Yeah.
But the common sense thing is, it's just, I don't know how some of these people just don't have like actual common sense. Like I don't get it. Some of the stuff that I see is they'll go and spend all the money that they don't have, or take out big loans on a brand new business that they don't know if they're going to be able to make that money back, and then they just put themselves farther in the hole. And that's like detailing. The detailing industry is you can get into it pretty cheap, and just get started. And I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy everything you need, get started, do a couple cars, like it's.
Oh, absolutely, man.
But some of these guys go out there and spend,
money they don't have.
Yeah, lots of money they don't have, and then they just, that's why they don't last.
Credit card debt, they go into debt heavily. They get BS stuff that they don't need.
Yep.
They work off their ego versus logic. I mean, so many different things. Harry, you've watched it, and you've watched young and old do some pretty stupid things. What's your input?
No, that's true. I mean, I built my business. I started. It was just me. Working in my driveway when I retired, and I found a shop, started to build it up. I mean, walked into my shop. It wasn't that impressive, but it was making
yours.
money. It was mine.
That's it.
I've seen guys that went training after me. A couple guys in Jersey went and looked at their places. I'm like, wow, maybe I'd have this in 20, 30 years. 6 months later, they're selling everything because
they got in debt.
They got no. You got to have customers. It's nice to have a beautiful shop, but you got to have customers to pay for that.
Yeah, good point. It's a disease, right? It's amazing because I see these guys going in the shops. Jim will appreciate this. All of us will. And they walk into it. They've been into it for 2 or 3 years, and they've got a 6,000 square foot shop. And it's like, what the hell are you going to do with that, man? I look at per square foot cost and how productive my shop is, and it's not. The dollar and cents aren't working out. It's just craziness. So, Mark, what's your logic in this?
Well, one of the things that kind of secretly frustrates me is, I know when you come into this industry, you've got to have training, you got to understand what you're doing, and you have to know how to do it the right way. So you learn the craft. But so many people stay focused on that. They don't focus on learning the business and how to run a business. I kind of watched that with some of the educational things. There were some people that were posting. Everything they did was, the technical. There were some pretty good educational things that were, business oriented.
Amen.
That in my mind, I think they need to be participating in some of that while it's available, but they don't. They just focus on that technical side, and I think that creates a short-lived business, in my opinion.
Yeah, so, I couldn't agree more. It's short. You're looking at a year or two of success, and then you're gonna either burn out from overworking because you're not making enough money because you don't know what the P&L says, and you don't know where you're making money at or from, or you're just going to get devoured if somebody that's business savvy comes into your market and kicks your hiney.
Yeah, I mean, you can only talk about so many compounds and polishes and pads and buffers and on and on and on. But I think, you need to learn business fundamentals and, the marketing side. I mean, that should be the things that I think, start putting your focus on. Once you have the understanding of the technical side, then start moving into those.
Absolutely. So we'll go next. Who's going to answer that one next?
I'll hit it. I'm kind of bummed because Mark keeps going before me. He's stealing everything I'm going to say.
Yeah. We'll go with you next.
Yeah. So, but I agree. I think it's for me, I love detailing, but I love the business side of it more. I think that sometimes we can miss out on, I see guys that are, we've all worked hard, but proud of the fact that you're working from, sun up to sundown and have no time for anything else. That doesn't excite me. There's a season for everything in building a business, everything, but that's not I think sometimes we miss the vision of what we want. Why are we doing all this? Is it, for the lifestyle? We talk about that a lot. I mean, I don't want to be working 24/7. People constantly come to my shop and they're like, "Why, you're on vacation again?" And so I have to tell them it's a business trip, with a little skiing
in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Next Mafia weekend.
That's right.
There you go. I like that.
So I think that's real important. Like looking at, I talk to a lot of people and ask, you're putting money away for retirement. What's the end game? Like Mark talked about your exit strategy. I mean, that's huge. I'm not looking at your body. Our bodies can't do that work forever. And, just looking at the why we do what we do and how we're going to get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of good stuff brought up here, but like Mark and I, we're always at the seminars, but most of them, it's the business stuff. And you know what? If you don't have the ability to come to a show like this, you go to your local college. They have night classes for business, but really, like we talk about, understanding your profits. I mean, it's great to have an $800 buffer, but that's not going to bring it in. I mean, you need to understand how to market to your customers properly. Build your packages up, not have too many packages, and keep it simple. But you really need to. That was my biggest mistake for over 20 years, not understanding business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny because you take somebody that's really good at marketing, and you put them into a market where there's some successful detailers. Perfect example of this is you look at Apple versus the Google phone or any of those guys. Apple's kicked their butt. And the only reason is they're a better marketing company. I always tell people Rupes, very respected brand in the industry. Really, what Rupes is, they're a great marketing company. They've sexified polishers and tools.
Sure.
They got a very operational tool, but they've also taken and done a fantastic job at marketing that tool. So Andrew, now we're going to talk. Now you can steal their thunder.
Yeah, now I'm not. I'll forget what I
yeah. So technology-wise, looking down into your crystal ball, what's going to be if you could tell people listening right now, that are 30-nothing years old, is that you're going to take and what would you tell them that they should be doing to build up their business for the future?
I'll answer that one. No.
Go ahead, Mark.
There you go. Yeah, Mark shot that. If you don't have it.
Now this one I need some time to think.
Yeah.
Technology-wise, like
doesn't matter anything. And when you knowing what the life you've lived in your entrepreneur life, when you look at it, what would you tell anybody? Anything, doesn't matter if it's technology, doesn't matter. What would you tell them that you would concentrate on going and you think is going to make the biggest difference in the future of this industry? That's why we didn't put you first.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is.
I think there's plenty of, I don't know. I think we have to focus on our markets focus on our own individual our individual markets. I think that's going to be real important in staying relevant, because social media, as big as like say coatings are now, social media has allowed the end user more empowerment.
Absolutely.
So there are some things now that things have gotten easier to use, and we need to stay involved in things like this where we could be relevant in being ahead of the game.
Yeah, I'd agree. You're right. We've got YouTube certified customers now.
Yep.
That are maybe weekend warriors in detailing. They might even be at these shows. People are getting to see them. They're a very, very savvy market now. It's not like in the before where it was, just a buffer and some wax, although a lot of people still view it that way. So next we'll go to Alex, and we'll go out to our ends from there.
Technology-wise, I'm one of the late guys is getting in the software that's out there now, whether it's RoadFS, Urable, or any of those guys that are out there. I'm a late one. We actually just I hired someone just in October to get us going with Urable, and it's been a game changer.
Wow.
That's I hired her for that, is to get us set up with that and get going, and it's a game changer.
It is.
Scheduling
it's like having a personal assistant for $100 a month, man.
Yeah.
It's unreal. So now we'll bounce back over the other way, Jim.
I mean, technology definitely, like Alex said. Didn't think about that, but we've been using software for a year, and it does make a difference. The other thing is, I would concentrate on building a package, a menu that's very simple. 3 options. Instead of having, 4 different exterior packages and 5 different, all these different things. Keep it simple to start, and then as the market develops and your customer base develops, you fine tune it from there. And, it's always nice to know what your competition's doing, but you got to figure out what you want to do, where you want it to be, and then get on that course.
Absolutely. We by the time we all met, 04, 05, 06 in that time frame, I didn't care. I didn't even competitive shop my customers anymore. We'd build our reputation up, and we knew what our profits were, where it lied, where we had to be, and honestly, we kept on kicking everybody's booty off of building up strong relationships and having a really simple menu. Those were our advantage was our people. It's just we communicated. We were pretty good communicators, and we kept it to that level. Okay, so we'll come down. Who's next over there? Some input on that.
Well, I think what I would say is, beyond the technical things, and business, I really think an important thing is to participate, to become part of the industry, to help the industry grow, because the bigger the industry grows and the better it is, the more legitimate it gets, the more opportunities there are, the more you can grow in your own business, and like I said, participate in industry associations like the IDA, and those things are help to grow the entire industry, which is better for everyone. I mean, we're stronger in numbers.
Absolutely.
Instead of just single warriors running around here, we all come together and create a stronger industry. All of our opportunities are bigger.
Dig.
I got to agree with Jim there. Like, you got to maintain a basic package that everybody can afford, and be involved. Find the cause in your community, and that's what's going to bring you in customers. Cancer benefit, restore the statue down at the park, do something that always keeps your name out there. And
it's goodwill, man. You're just doing cool things you've got to build up your community. I love that you just brought that up, Harry, because that's so huge. Most people, they just take withdrawals constantly out of their community, but they don't put anything back in. It's all me, and you can't do that, and I think it's important. So I think personal development's a huge one, and I think part of that is this whole culture that we've got. The Americans are screwed up. You go to European countries, especially, is they've got a much more relaxed work schedule. And I'm not saying you don't work hard. I'm just saying you got to play hard too. And if you don't personally develop yourself and you're not happy, that's going to come out, man. Jim and I have talked about this a tremendous amount. All of us have got our hobbies and the things we enjoy, but if you don't enjoy those enough, I can't speak for everybody, but I become a little bitter. I become a little not happy, and therefore I don't think I'm attracting the right customers. I'm not selling the jobs as rapidly. I think that when you're, the 5-2 concept is 5 days of building an empire and 2 days a week of building up your life and being happy, man. I never regret Fridays. I'm not like, hey man, oh my God, I never regret Mondays. I enjoy all 5 days of my work week, because most weeks now, and it was for the majority of my career, is that my team, I allowed them time off to go enjoy the life. They worked so hard. We paid them good enough to where they could go build a life and go enjoy the life and do fun things and explore. And they came back energized after that. Does that make sense? Yep. So any other input, fellas, before we take off? Anybody want to add a little something that you're feeling in your gut? Because I love those gut reactions. Sometimes it's the best exit out of here. It's just kind of sharing some stuff you've got.
Knowledge is power. The more training you can do, the better off you are. So that's my big thing, is just knowledge is power.
Yeah, I talked to you just a few months ago. You're down getting your window tinting and looking at different things. I mean, that never ends for you. Never will. You're the type of guy. You're not gonna sit back and know it all. So great input. Anybody else, guys?
I would say, honestly, the biggest thing is just reach out to other detailers and ask questions. Guys are always willing to help, and you'd be surprised what you can learn from them also. I really find that, that's been a great tool for me.
Oh, we would, none of us would be here if we didn't talk.
That's the true statement.
I mean, Mark and I, we had the commonality of airplanes back in the day. You did a lot of airplanes. I did a lot of airplanes, and we were bouncing stuff off the old forums. It was basically like having Morse code, back in the day, man. To post on some of those forums where Alex is going, "What's a forum? Oh my God,"
Yeah, but we brought him on one project and he won't come back.
No, right? Yeah. He's like, "I'm smarter than that, man. I'm smarter than that." All right. Well, hey, fellas, I want to thank you guys all. You guys are true friends, and I'm glad you guys could get up here. A lot of knowledge base for those listening. So you guys go down the line. We'll start at Jim and just tell your company name, how to reach out to you, where they can find you to check you out.
It's Jim Goguen, Jim's Auto Installations and Detailing Center in Ipswich, Mass.
Okay. On Instagram and Facebook, what's your
Facebook? It's Jim's Auto.
Cool. Right on.
Andrew Swenson, Wolfboro Car Wash and Executive Detail, Wolfboro, New Hampshire. Facebook, I think, is Wolfboro Car Wash. Instagram is Executive Detail NH.
There you go.
Alex Dublin, North Pole, Alaska, Torque Performance, Motorsports, Facebook and Instagram, both TPM Alaska.
Harry?
Dirty Harry's Detailing or Hogfather Motorcycle Detail. Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same. Google, you'll find me.
There you go. Mark?
So Mark Johnson, AutoWorks Pro Detailing, AutoWorksProDetailing.com, and also AutoWorks Hand Car Wash and Detail Center, AutoWorks Car Wash and Detail Center.com.
There you go. Well, gents, hey, thanks a lot for coming in, man. I really appreciate this. Let's go enjoy. And anybody, if you're listening to this live, we're going to be on the patio at the hotel tonight. And I'll tell you, that's where businesses, relationships, friendships, lifelong, is that I often think of, us all being together, and I would have never guessed it'd be this long. And here's the deal, for Alex, you don't understand this. We're only halfway through it. You're gonna have to bury us. You're gonna have to deal with saying, "Man, I remember this event with these old geezers, back in the day." But I'm telling you, these gents that are up here right now, they are the industry. They'll help you out anyway. They're good men, not just great entrepreneurs, not just great detailers. They're solid men. And if you want a true opinion, if you're successful or not, go to Harry, because he's going to be prepared, because he's going to tell you if you got your shit together or how bad you suck. So just be prepared. If you've got a cute girlfriend, that gets a better review.
Yep.
Right, Harry?
You're right.
There you go. There you-
Like you say, you got to stay community. I do a lot for the single working moms out there.
That's all right, guys. Hey, man, happy detailing all. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. See you later. All right, guys, that's awesome, man. We're still live, so we'll talk shit later.
You don't want to pull a Biden.